find motor, go find motor. In 2 legs. Then don't shoot you on 2 legs. I run, go check my other son. He has already dead.
One of Felicia's sons was among the 6 Christians killed in this Protestant church in Gombe, where bullet holes are still very visible. On Thursday night, Boko Haram radicals opened fire on worshippers gathered for prayer there. A total of at least 30 Christians have been killed in the north of Nigeria since the ultimatum issued by the Boko Haram group expired on Wednesday. The group had given Christians 3 days to leave this part of the country. Because of the upswing in violence, thousands of people are fleeing the Muslim-dominated north of the country.
The Electoral Code has imposed a 30-day ban on all hidden propaganda in both the public and private media. The measure is put in place by the body that regulates the media in Senegal. The ban is expected to be lifted on February 4th when campaigning starts ahead of the forthcoming presidential election. We have details in this report.
Propaganda in the public or private media has been banned in Senegal as of January 6th for a 30-day period or until the start of the official election campaign. This new provision in Senegal's electoral code was announced by the national body that regulates the country's media. Various media organizations have taken the necessary measures. Senegal's state television, often accused of broadcasting propaganda in favor of the ruling party, says it will stop the practice.
We have meetings with both the news teams and with those in charge of programming. We ask the heads of those services to inform their colleagues that at this particular point in time, measures need to be taken to avoid having their knuckles rapped by the media regulatory body.
RFM, a private radio station owned by singer Youssou N'Dour, who is himself running for president, says it will be impartial in its treatment of all the candidates.
I assure you that our boss will be given the same treatment on the air as any other candidate. We will respect the measures imposed by the media regulatory body.
Employees at the National Audiovisual Regulatory Body have their eyes glued to their screens, closely monitoring each television program and its contents. The aim is to make sure the ban on propaganda and secret campaigning is respected.
What you see here allows us to record all television stations based in Dakar, 24 hours a day. On the other side, the radio stations are also recorded 24 hours a day.
The ban on all public declarations in favor of any one candidate or political party in the media ends on February 4th when the official election campaign gets underway.
The oldest liberation movement on the African continent is celebrating its centenary. The African National Congress was formed in 1911 to stand up to the white minority government in that country. The ANC's military wing, the MK, was actively waging an underground guerrilla warfare against the then white government. The veterans of that resistance, as we hear in this report, are still finding it hard to improve their social conditions.
White minority rule in South Africa are celebrating the centenary of the ANC. They were part of the MK, the armed wing of the African National Congress, created by Nelson Mandela and Joe Slovo. They trained in Angola, Zambia and the former USSR. Moriti Samuel Sokna was 18 years old when he took part in his first military operation.
Only two that had experience of military training in full force. All of us were this crash course, and you see, but when we throw those grenades, most of our members were crying instead of the regime crying. Our members were crying to say, hey, we can't move now. This noise, you see.
Fighters lived in exile, in training camps, or in hiding in South Africa. When Nelson Mandela, who led the ANC party to power, ended the armed struggle, the former fighters found themselves at a loss.
From exile, we were not prepared for a reintegration into society. an example, going to school, reskilling of our comrades. So that was a disadvantage from the side.
50 years after the historic defiance campaign began, a celebration was held in Soweto on the 16th of December last. While some veterans followed President Jacob Zuma's example with a career in business or in politics, others remain on the sidelines of South African society.
So hundreds of them, probably more, are saying we are still being left behind. We have to struggle for pensions, never mind jobs, never mind getting an education, never mind being reskilled to live in the new society. So there's a deep discontent.
South Africa's ANC veteran fighters are now hoping President Jacob Zuma will sign a law agreed by Parliament to provide training, healthcare and a pension.
World News continues here on GRTS after this break. And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. The chairman of Gumtel's board of directors has revealed that the government and other private debtors owe the National Telecommunications Company a staggering $1 billion. Police officers have busted a ring suspected of involvement in counterfeiting. Senegal's media regulator has barred both the private and national media from carrying what it calls propaganda, and thousands of Christians are fleeing northern Nigeria against the backdrop of the increasing violence blamed on Boko Haram. Well, you can also follow that story and other GRTS programs live on our website, which is at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. Well, that brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company and have a very good night.
We all know what the president did for the period of the last 3 mandates. Now he's going to the 4th mandate. Looking at things as it is, I will just give you the all of adage that Chin Balane Subahe Dafa Hey. We've seen the first 3 decades or 3 tours of the president very much developmental oriented situation in this country. Now we are going to the 4th one. If he says he will give you a dinner, you will sleep and wait for the dinner. The president has announced and pronounced his intention and that we've given him the mandate. He's returning what we give him. So I don't need to be labored. We all know what is going to happen. It's going to be much more than what has happened in the past.
Where we try to remind you about some of the essential issues that we captured during the recently concluded Gambia government and Gambians in the diaspora meeting held at the Calabar Beach Hotel. My name is Ibrahim Balde. Follow our program.
And it's